of the most important fluids of the 21st century. National, regional, and global policies for water usage and water rights have yet to be developed. Water is the most abundant liquid on Earth. Water is contained within 92.7% oceans, 0.6% in groundwater, 0.2% within lake and rivers, and 2.1% for glaciers and ice. And the last but not least, 0.1% for atmosphere.
The water cycle describes the existence and the movement of water in, on, and above the earth. It's called a cycle because it's always changing and it's always in movement, for example, from ice to liquid or vapor. The water cycle changes because of the different seasons and the different climates. For example, in the winter seasons, snow is in the land and it happens in the mountains. Another change can happen in the rainy seasons because wetlands like lakes or rivers are filled up with water and plants or animals can use it and more water has to evaporate.
Waters from rivers and oceans become gas because of the heat of the sun. Gas is carried up into the sky, which cools and condensates, which then forms droplets that form clouds.
The second step is precipitation. It is when the droplets form on evaporation, get heavier so they have to return to the earth as rain or snow. Then we have the rainfall that locates in rivers, lakes, and wetlands.
After that, it gets stored into the pores of spongy rock, where it takes years to get back into the rivers or the ocean.
Finally, we have transpiration, where rainfall is absorbed by the roots of the plants and then taken out as vapor from the leaves.
The water cycle is important because all living things on Earth depend on it. The water represents 60 to 70% of all living matter on Earth, and people cannot survive without drinking water for more than 1 week. The water cycle distributes fresh water all over the Earth's surface.
Each phase change depends on the other. Without one of the phase changes, the whole cycle wouldn't work.
Water is any water from oceans, lakes, rivers, or wetlands that collects on the surface of the earth. Water is water found in the undergrounds within the cracks and spaces between sand, soil, or rocks. It moves slowly and is contained in the geological formations such as sand or the aquifers.
Let's look at the science of rain and how raindrops form. First, we'll need the sun. When the sun shines on water on the Earth's surface, the heat of the sun warms the water, turning it into an invisible gas called water vapor. This process, the changing of water into a gas, is called evaporation. Because gases are lighter than liquids, water vapor rises up into the sky. And the further you move up and away from the Earth's surface, the colder the temperature gets. So in the sky, the water vapor cools and changes back into tiny water droplets. This change is called condensation and is the opposite of evaporation. Clouds are made up of tiny water droplets, so when condensation occurs in the sky, clouds form and grow. Let's take a closer look. When water droplets bump into one another, they stick together and grow in size. They continue to grow until they are too heavy and fall as rain. They even grow as they bump into one another on their journey from the cloud to the ground. And every single raindrop that reaches the ground is made up of 1 million of the original tiny water droplets. Raindrops fall on the ground surface where the sun can shine on them, and the whole process happens again. This is called the water cycle and keeps water moving from the ground to the sky, providing the water needed for plants, animals, and people to survive. So now you know.